Whoa. Good day, chat. Good day. Oh my god, impromptu fucking Switch Direct reaction. This announcement literally hit yesterday, right as I started my Genshin stream. Why is your quality stuck at 144p? I don't know. I do not know. That's definitely a you thing, because I can set it to 1080 right here. Maybe refresh your stream. Yeah, that's definitely a you thing. Anyway, yeah, Switch Direct. Somehow, the rumors were right. Weirdly. I don't think they were rumors that anyone was necessarily believing. The moment there was like it was pretty reputable sources, but them saying like, oh yeah. I remember this rumor first coming out, like, I think it was like early February. And it was like, oh, there's gonna be another Switch 1 Direct at some point before the Switch 2 Direct, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like the Switch still has an install base of like 120 million consoles. I'm sure they're not immediately gonna abandon the platform like they abandoned the Wii U after the Switch launched, right? So I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then it just didn't happen for like the entirety of February, and I was like, okay, well now we're getting really close to that Switch 2 Direct. Surely they're not gonna like steal the mojo from that Switch 2 Direct. And then the rumor resurfaced like earlier this week, being like, yeah, no, that Direct is still happening. And I was like, oh no, you're full of shit. You are full of shit. And they were not. They were not, in fact, full of shit. Which is why I have no idea what to expect. Also, hello everybody. Hello Chelsea. Hello Cloud. Hello Fia. Hello Cyber. Hello everybody. Welcome in. Thank you for checking into this early stream. There might be another early stream tomorrow. We just got our 1,000 Pokemon card sleeves in the mail, and hopefully our Journey Together box should be coming in later today. Don't know if we'll be opening that tomorrow or Saturday in the evening, but knowing the two of us, we'll probably want to do it as early as possible. So it's likely going to be tomorrow, same time as today. And that's going to be a big box. That's an English booster box, so that's 30 big packs, not like the 30 small packs that we had. It's twice as big, effectively. Twice as big with like 3 times as many possible hits. We'll be opening that either tomorrow or Saturday. We managed to get one for launch day, which is crazy, because that set comes out tomorrow. It's being shipped today because they want to make sure that like everyone has it before launch day, but... Sure, can't wait for that Silksong trailer. Yeah, so, see, here's the thing. I'm not expecting anything from this Direct. At most, the one thing that I'm like... When they first... when the rumor first started resurfacing, I was like, okay, realistically, the only thing that this could be is like a partner showcase. Or like maybe an indie world. Because like there's no way that Nintendo is gonna have enough first-party Switch 1 stuff this close to the Switch 2 reveal. There's no way. But then again, I remembered, like, they delayed the Switch 2 so they could beef up the Switch 2's launch lineup, which also means, like, they've had more time to develop, like, cross-gen launch games, because that's what I'm assuming a lot of this is gonna be, right? I'm assuming a lot of these games, are Switch 1 games that most people will play on the Switch 2 if they get one. Some of them might even have, like, enhanced versions for the Switch 2, right? So, that's what I'm expecting most of this to be. But, like, I was like, there's no way they have that much first-party stuff. And then, like, I'm thinking about it, the only real stuff that they have that we know confirmed is coming out into Switch 1, right? We have Metroid Prime 4, That's a Switch 1 title. I'm sure it'll have a Switch 2 enhanced version, and I'm sure they're gonna show it off during the Switch 2 Direct again. If only to show off the mouse support of the Joy-Con, right? They might, I'm expecting they show it here, because it is ultimately a Switch 1 game. And that way, like, that Switch 2 presentation can just be full of Switch 2 exclusives, right? They can focus primarily on what is stuff that you can exclusively play on the new thing, as opposed to what is stuff that you can play even if you have the old thing. So at most, I'm expecting Metroid Prime 4 in this presentation, and then during the Switch 2 presentation, when they talk about, like, the Joy-Con mouse capability, they'll probably show Metroid Prime 4 as an example, because, you know, it's a shooter. It's like, what one kind of console game immediately becomes better if you have a controller capable of being a mouse? It's a shooter, right? Metroid Prime 4 is a shooter that they have coming out. Maybe they'll show it with Splatoon, I don't know. But, like, you know, that Splatoon 3 is a much older game. I don't know if they'd update it. Oh, here we go. Well, I guess no more speculation. We're just going straight in. Yeah, no, 2 p.m. on the dot, huh? Oh, Dragon Quest. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD remake. Yeah, I remember they revealed this last time when they revealed the release date for Dragon Quest 3 HD. They were like, oh yeah, by the way, we're also doing 1 and 2. That's coming later in 2025. That makes sense. Yeah, of course. And that easily runs on the Switch 1. That's exciting. Hell yeah. That's a good first announcement to open with, even though, like, we already knew about this, right? Hello, Flanny. Welcome in. And this is live recorded music. This is the Tokyo Symphonic Orchestra. That's fucking awesome. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake. No full release date, just a quick show off.
Hello everyone, I'm Shinya Takahashi.
Hello, Takahashi.
I'll be your guide for today's Nintendo Direct.
I'll turn that volume up a little bit for you guys.
Today, we'll be providing information on upcoming Nintendo Switch games.
Yeah, that you will.
We'll also have a Nintendo Direct for Nintendo Switch 2.
I was about to say, they're going to mention
2nd.
this straight away, right?
So please tune in for that as well.
Yeah.
What you just saw was Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake from Square Enix. Another character appeared at the end. What kind of adventure awaits? We hope you're excited for more information in the future. Okay, let's see the first batch of headlines.
I feel like this is the most low-stakes Direct we've ever had, because I'm like...
from dire straits.
Like, I really do not... Well, obviously, I care what's in this Direct, but, like, I really don't, like, mind if there's nothing too cool in this Direct that, like, I'm excited to play.
2 minutes until oxygen 0.
Because, like, we have a Switch 2 Direct coming next week anyway. So, like, you know, why... Even if there's nothing in here that I'm too excited about, like, I know there's gonna be good shit next week. No sleep for Konami?
The latest entry in the The Somnium Files series is...
Oh, it's Somnium Files. I was like, wait, what is that? Right.
A special agent with a sophisticated AI called Iba embedded in his left eye. Your mission is to track down Iris, an internet idol who has been trapped in a mysterious escape game.
Why, you gotta fucking rescue a VTuber?
To investigate Iris's whereabouts. Dive into a subject's dreams to reveal clues hidden deep within their psyche.
Rescue the VTuber from the torture chamber.
In an explorable environment. Everything you learn will bring you one step closer to the truth.
Iron Mouse has been put in the Parawiggler. Free her.
What's hidden in reality and dreams to rescue Iris. No Sleep for Kaname Date from The Somnium Files launches on the Nintendo Switch system July 25th.
Alright.
Unleash the supernatural.
I have no idea what that is, but that did not look like a high quality thumbnail. Hey, this music kind of fucks.
A classic Atlas action RPG returns with remastered HD
Oh,
graphics
righto.
and enhanced gameplay. Set in the capital city in the year Taisho 20, Raido Kuzunoha makes his living as an apprentice detective. But unbeknownst to others, he also fights alongside demons as a devil summoner. To protect the capital, Raido must investigate.
Yeah, that looks like an
series
Atlas
of
game.
Supernatural cases. Fight in real-time battles alongside demons you summon.
Yeah,
Work
that
with your
absolutely
demons
looks
to
like an
strike
Atlas game.
enemy's weak point, then follow up with a powerful attack. Cooperation is the key to victory. You can even turn opposing demons into allies. Demons can also be useful outside of battle. And their powers are helpful in finding solutions during investigations. Guide Raido through a series of strange incidents.
I assume you're the bird who gave us a call?
As he uncovers
Oh
a
god, that
conspiracy
lip syncing
that will
animation
shape the
was
capital to
questionable.
Raido Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army, launches on Nintendo Switch June 19th. Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo eShop. Consume darkness.
Consume
With your
darkness.
memories gone, you have been summoned to a strange, unfamiliar world
Shadow Labyrinth.
where you're greeted by a yellow orb known as
Oh, it's the fucking Pac-Man game!
But who
Yeah!
is this spherical stranger?
It's the
More
fucking
than a
Pac-Man
mysterious,
reboot.
Maze-like world. Your battle for
The
survival.
Pac-Man Metroidvania, I remember now.
As
This shit's
Puck
cool
guides
as
you
fuck,
on your
actually.
journey, You'll delve deeper into the expansive world. By examining your surroundings, you can phase shift and combine with Puck to explore areas you couldn't reach before.
This is such a cool concept, like actually though.
Creatures inhabiting this world will prove hostile.
Like this was someone who smoked crack in a pitch meeting and then actually everyone went, wait, hold on, you're cooking?
To
Like,
unleash powerful attacks.
wait a second? Please continue. You have my attention.
You'll collect resources that can then be used to enhance your abilities. Work to uncover Puck's true goal. And devour enemies to survive this cruel world. Experience a dark twist on the iconic Pac-Man when...
Yeah, honestly, this
Shadow
looks cool as
Rabbit launches
fuck.
on Nintendo Switch
Like,
July
genuinely.
18th. The rhythmic march begins.
Rhythmic March?
Remasters of
Damn.
Patapon and Patapon 2.
I was
are
like,
thrown onto
Rhythm
Nintendo
Heaven?
Switch as one bundle. Play your drum.
You will
to the
never be
beat
Rhythm
and
Heaven.
Give different commands to the Patapon army. For example, Pata Pata Patapon advances them forward, while Pon Pon Patapon has them attack. And if you string together combos with good timing, the Patapons enter fever mode and get a big boost in power. From the horse riding Kiba.
Okay, actually, this
to
is
the
kind of
shield
cool. I have not seen
Tate
these
Pon.
games before.
Build up your battalion to take on hordes of fierce foes. Plus, new features have been added, so you can advance to the beat of your own drum.
Oh, you can change the difficulty.
Lead the Patapons and march forth when Patapon 1+2 Replay launches on Nintendo Switch July 11th.
This is all stuff for July, which is interesting.
Welcome to Zephyr Town, a cozy place nestled in a windswept valley.
Why does that
This
name
is
sound
where
familiar?
Your new life begins.
Story of Seasons. Huh, interesting.
First cropping up on the Nintendo DS system, this immersive farming and life sim has no shortage of
Farming!
activities to
We're
get
so
into.
back. We're so fucking back.
Be the new farmer. Tend to your farm while growing crops.
Oh, we're
and
so back,
caring for
chat.
animals.
We haven't really had farming games in Nintendo Directs for a while. That
Then
cow
sell
looks
your
so silly. I
produce
love
and
him.
other wares at the town's weekly bazaar.
Oh, you can run your little
As
shop.
bazaar
Oh, that's
sales
cute.
grow, you'll help the once famous market regain its former splendor.
Inspiring, honestly.
You can also get to know
The fact that it
locals
has voice acting is also a big up for it, honestly.
and maybe nurture a relationship if you find that special someone. Plus, taking advantage of Zephyr Town's windy conditions can make travel and other tasks.
Okay, this actually
a
looks
breeze.
like really cozy. And I'm a pretty big fan.
The winds of change are coming, and your new life on the farm begins when Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar launches
August
on the
this
Nintendo
year,
Switch
wow.
system, August
So,
27th.
so the Switch 1 is really, like, being supported for, like, another year.
Please look forward to the
That's
latest
cool.
entry in the Story of Seasons
Right.
series.
Big Nintendo title incoming.
Next, please take a look at this.
All right, what do you got? Probably something first party. It's Metro Prime 4! Okay! Fuck, okay, it is Prime 4. Wow, that's not even their last announcement? Prime 4 isn't their last announcement? That's crazy. What the fuck could their last announcement be? Also, this looks gorgeous, by the way.
This is the unknown planet Vuros.
Yeah, this looks fucking gorgeous.
Samus
Oh yeah, Metroid
finds
Prime
a
4
footage
was
of
always a Switch 1
colossal
game.
tree
My
and
guess is that it's going to be a cross-launch game with Switch 2.
In order to survive,
If they reveal the release date of Metroid Prime 4 today, that's the day the Switch 2 comes out.
Samus must scan stone figures and other relics to carve a path forward.
I think this footage is recorded on Switch 1. But I think they're gonna show it off again during the Switch 2 Direct to show off the mouse support, like the Joy-Con, like mouse
Living in the
feature.
jungle are
Oh
ready to
my god.
strike.
Well, I mean, yeah, that would make sense. Wonder how mouse aiming will change Splatoon? Probably quite a bit.
As she explores the planet, Samus is granted mysterious and ancient powers.
I wonder how they'll handle it in terms of matchmaking. Like, will they have like two separate matchmaking pools? One for people who use mouse, one for people who use controller? Because they are
and
like,
open doors.
they could very much give advantages. But then again, like,
They also allow
controller
her to control
with the
trajectory
motion
of her
control
beams
support
with the
is
power.
not like, I don't think mouse is superior to that.
But why?
Yeah.
Were these powers bestowed upon Samus?
I don't think mouse is inherently superior to Joy-Con or to controller plus motion. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, this game looks fucking fantastic.
And what?
Full disclosure, I've never actually played a Metroid Prime
Summoned
game.
to Vuros. The
But like, I am
threads
very,
intertwining
if this is a
beyond
Switch 2
space
launch
and
title,
time.
I am very much down to give this a try. Because I love single-player shooter campaigns. Okay, yeah, see? No release date. I knew they'd do that, because this is gonna be a cross-gen launch title on the Switch 2. So they wouldn't want to reveal the date of Metroid Prime 4, because then everyone's gonna be like, oh, so you're gonna release a Switch 2 that day. Hello? Red and Black Samus? Oh, now that's my kind of suit right there.
It looks like even more challenges await Samus.
Oh, well, I guess I have to fucking play it now.
We hope you're looking forward to exploring with Samus's new psychic abilities.
Okay, but what the fuck what the fuck is gonna be their final announcement
Let's
then?
move on to some
more headlines, sure. I'm just like wondering what the fuck the
Ready
final
to
announcement
stir
could be
up
now.
Some mischief?
Some mischief?
Once upon a time, there was a drab coffee shop that transformed into a magical potion cafe. As the
Disney
newest
Villains Cursed
potionista of the
Cafe?
Cursed Cafe, you'll craft concoctions for Disney villains and get to know
Disney
them in
Villain
new
Bartender
Mix
Simulator?
ingredients to brew all sorts of strange elixirs. Then serve them to your villainous visitors, including Ursula and Gaston. With help from Yzma, you can upgrade your ingredients to produce some wildly wicked creations. The potions you make can influence each customer's storylines, leading to different outcomes every time you play. Who knows?
Sure,
what
man.
Mischief might happen. Disney Villains Cursed Cafe.
Available later
Launches on
today.
Nintendo
Hey.
Switch later today.
If you want a game to play today, go right ahead.
Summon a spellbinding adventure.
Oh, that's cute art. Ooh, I like the art of this already.
Welcome to Witchbrook College, where students strive to master the magical arts.
This is
During
pretty.
class, use magic circles to perform rituals, fly on brooms, and learn advanced techniques to go from witch in training to skilled spellcaster. There's also plenty to do outside of class.
Pretty music too, I really like that oboe.
Hang out with friends at their homes.
I'm such a big oboe fan, girl.
Take on
Also, that
various
carpet
jobs
was
to help pay
transcoded
for
as hell.
tuition. Or use the spells you've learned to craft and sell original items. Plus, up to 4 players can make
Co-op.
magic together in online co-op.
Huh. Neat.
Explore this whimsical world on the road to graduation and beyond. Are you ready
Ooh,
for a
nice minor fourth.
spellbinding journey? Enrollment begins when Witchbrook flies
Holiday
onto
this
Nintendo
year.
Switch this holiday.
Wouldn't be surprised if that's a PC release as well.
Action, adventure, and arcade games await.
All right, another Bandai
Set
Namco
out on a
arcade. Here we
fantastical
go.
Mission to
No.
eliminate a mysterious deity.
Oh, I
In
like this art style, too.
platforming
It's like
adventure,
Cuphead
you
type shit.
explore an expansive archipelago where nightmares and wonder collide. Upgrade your trusty cane with magical parts. Then use its abilities to find your own path through the enchanting world. Can you uncover the secrets the archipelago holds? Find out when the Eternal Life of Goldman launches on Nintendo Switch this holiday. Celebrate the 40th anniversary of Gradius with a collection of arcade shoot-'em-up games from across the series. Titles include Gradius,
I'm always a big fan of arcade re-releases.
Life Force, Gradius 2, Gradius 3, and Salamander 2. Some titles come with multiple versions,
Nice,
including ones
nice.
from different regions.
Good
and
preservation.
launch years.
Well
Plus,
done.
Take the helm in a brand new entry, Salamander
New
3.
entry as well? That's cool.
Gradius Origins launches on the Nintendo
All right,
Switch
high quality
system
arcade
August
collection.
7th.
Fuck yeah.
Pre-orders begin
I've never played
later
these
today
games, but I'm
on
always a fan
Nintendo
of that,
eShop.
just for like preservation's sake.
Battle to the beat in Rift of
Yo,
the
Rift of the Necrodancer.
Press the
This shit goes
corresponding
hard.
Buttons in each lane to fight monsters in rhythm-based combat. Keep the cadence going with epic boss battles, quirky minigames, remix stages, and global leaderboards. Plus, more musical mayhem awaits in the Celeste Music Pack paid DLC.
What?
And be on the lookout for more DLC in the
Sorry,
future.
Celeste Music Pack?
Rift of the
Oh, I have to play
Necrodancer
this now.
Launches on Nintendo Switch later today.
Oh shit. Okay.
Let's see what's in store.
I have to play Rift of the Necrodancer then. Fuck. What the fuck in the Animal Crossing ripoff is
Welcome
this?
to Tamagotchi Plaza.
Tamagotchi
a brand new
Plaza?
entry in the Tamagotchi Connection series. There are stores galore. Design glasses at the eyewear shop.
That's just Animal Crossing dialogue. I'm
Polish
sorry.
Pearly whites solo or with a friend at the dentist. And arrange plates at the afternoon tea shop.
Can I hear more dialogue?
12 wonderful stores need your help. provide good customer service to get high ratings and upgrade each shop. In doing so, you'll get to meet more Tamagotchi.
Okay, it's not quite Animal Crossing. It's closer to Celeste, actually. It's closer to Celeste speech synthesization. That's not a word.
Get ready to set up shop when Tamagotchi Plaza launches on Nintendo Switch June 27th.
It's close to Celeste dialogue. Oh. Yo! Okay. Show off some megas. Show some new megas. Come on. Oh. Yeah, okay. Uh-huh. This soon after the Pokemon Presents. That's crazy.
A new title in the Pokemon series.
Maybe that's why they didn't show a lot.
Adventure by choosing one of 3 partner Pokemon. The setting is this metropolis that also appeared in the Pokemon X and Pokemon Y games.
We can jump,
Lumio
yeah.
City. To make it easier for people and Pokemon to coexist,
Amolga's in.
a company
Yippee.
named Quasartico Inc. is carrying out an urban redevelopment plan. Here, we'll get a glimpse into the lives of the Pokemon and people of
That's Lumio City music, like very, very remixed.
Scattered all over town are wild zones. These areas are special environments where wild Pokemon can live comfortably, even within the city. You can catch Pokemon.
I love how they've like remixed the wild battle theme from X and Y into this. It's so good. I love what they do with the Legend soundtracks, man.
If you sense trouble, get to safety.
Like, listen to that. It's so cool.
Outside wild zones too. Some of them can even be found on rooftops.
That's so cool.
People and Pokemon live easygoing lives.
Come on, show some Mega Evolutions.
But when night falls,
oh,
the city's aura transforms. Highly skilled trainers are invited to participate in a tournament, the ZA Royale.
Oh, so that's what this was.
Trainers await in battle zones.
So it's a lot more battle focused then than Legends Arceus was. That's cool.
They'll challenge you to battle.
Ooh, I love that trainer battle remix.
Strike first before being seen, and you'll land a surprise attack.
That's cheating. That's just
During
cheating.
battles, using a super effective move at the right moment is key.
That just feels like cheating. Sneaking up on
Mega
someone?
Evolution, some Pokemon can power up even
Yeah,
more.
sure. Mega Alakazam, we know. Show some new ones.
You'll start at rank Z and work your way up to rank A.
Oh my god, Z to A? It's
Trainers
like
who
the
reach
title.
top are said to have a wish granted. Day and night are 2 sides to Lumio City. It seems there are even more secrets waiting to be uncovered.
Oh, hello,
What will
Zygar.
you find on your adventure? Pokemon Legends.
Still not
ZX
showing any
launches
new
on
megas
Nintendo
is
Switch
crazy.
later this year.
Still not showing any new megas is
In Lumio
crazy.
City, where the game is set, the aura transforms between day and
The
night.
night thing is
It
cool
seems there
though.
are even
I
more
like that there's
secrets
actually
to
like a lot more purpose for battling now than there was in Legends Arceus, because I really felt like that was missing.
Next, please take a look at this.
Oh, okay. Another big one?
Hello there.
Rhythm Heaven?
About to see. Boop. Doesn't have a big, epic story,
Is it Rhythm Heaven?
but what it does have.
It's fucking Rhythm Heaven! I said it earlier!
You wanna see? Just press the button to jump through the ring.
Oh my god, a new Rhythm Heaven. Oh, it's been so long. Oh. Oh, I am so playing this.
It sounds easy. But the timing is super tricky. Boop. Maybe you could try it in time to a rhythm? In this game, you might do almost anything, but you will need to do it in rhythm.
Oh.
You might even
Ooh, ee, ah, ooh, ee, ah, ee. Oh my god. Oh, it looks so fun.
Get into the rhythm with a brand new entry in the Rhythm Heaven series.
Rhythm Heaven Groove. That 2026. Wow. Yeah, that was not on my bingo card.
Rhythm Heaven Groove, a brand new entry.
That was
in the
not
Rhythm
on my
Heaven
fucking
series.
bingo card, dude.
It includes
Holy
lots of
shit.
music produced by renowned Japanese musician Tsunku. What kinds of rhythms do you think you'll hear?
I fucking love the Rhythm Heaven series.
Next,
I played
we
so
have
much
news
Rhythm Heaven
about
Fever
the
as a
use of
kid.
Digital games on your system. Please take a look.
Huh? Sorry, what did he say?
With game cards, you can put a game featuring Mario in this Nintendo Switch system
Sorry, what?
and a Legend of Zelda game in this one.
Yeah?
Freely inserting the games you have on hand into any system you want.
Yeah?
But what if digital games could be as flexible and convenient as game cards?
Okay.
Well, here's what we came up with. Introducing the virtual game card.
Sorry, what?
In the future, virtual game cards can be used for digital games. When purchasing the digital
Can
version
you
of the
load?
game, it will be loaded onto your system as a virtual game card,
Okay.
allowing you to play that title. Your digital games will be lined up as virtual game cards on a dedicated management screen.
Okay.
Here, you can load and eject your virtual game cards and manage which games you can play on your system.
Okay. Can you trade it with someone else?
If you have two Nintendo Switch systems, you can eject a virtual game card from one and load it onto the second.
So, and I'm assuming that works with Switch 2
Now
as well,
you can
right?
play this game on the second system wherever and whenever you want,
Yeah.
just as if you had inserted a physical
So
game
this is
card.
how you're going to be able to play your digital games on
With
Switch
virtual
2.
game cards, you can freely load and arrange which games you play on up to two systems.
Okay.
Local communication with your second system is required, but only the first time.
Oh, neat.
You can also lend out virtual game cards to your Nintendo account family group members.
Nice. Okay.
Connect to your family group member
Very
system
nice.
via local wireless when you want to lend a game. Choose the title you're lending and who you're lending it to.
Nice. Family sharing. That's fucking sick,
And
dude.
you're done. They can now play on their own system. You can only lend one game at a time to a particular person.
Okay, that's
Games
fine.
can be lent out for 2 weeks, after which they will automatically return to you. Making digital games even easier to use. Virtual Game Card.
Okay. That's neat.
The virtual game card feature lets you swap games between Nintendo Switch systems as well as to Nintendo Switch 2 systems.
Hey, there it is.
This feature is planned to be added via a system
Late
update
April.
in late April.
Oh, so we can playtest it a bit before Switch
Let's
2.
take a look at more Nintendo Switch games.
It's 3 minutes. There's about 3 minutes left. So I'm probably gonna have like one of these overview trailers and then one final announcement, and that's it. Sorry, I was gonna say, was that High on Life? When the fuck is this coming to Switch? I guess that's something that they didn't want to show during the Switch 2 presentation. They were just like, we'll include it in here because we want to focus it on like the physical features of the Switch 2 instead of like new digital features. That makes sense. Oh my god, my frames. What the fuck? That did not look good. Oh no.
Uncover history once more. An HD remaster of Saga Frontier 2 is venturing onto Nintendo Switch. Meet Gustav, the Royal Heir, and Will, the Explorer. Two heroes.
Dude, honestly,
whose fates and
new
legacies
Rhythm Heaven
will
game is like
intertwine
way
across
beyond my
generations
expectations for
in
this direct.
epic
So I'm
RPG.
fucking happy. I am very content. Like
Experience
that
the
was
original story,
not in
along
my
with
like
brand new
realm of
events that
expectations.
expand the vibrant world of Sondale.
I am very happy. Whatever this final announcement
Plus,
is, like I'm
team
sure
up
it'll
with
be
more
cool.
characters in battle.
But whatever this final announcement
And
is, if
transfer
it's something I'm
stats
not
to
too
allies
excited
through the
about, hey,
parameter
that's
inheritance
fine.
system.
That's okay.
After finishing the main story, you can test your mettle and might against even more powerful bosses. What histories will you uncover through the ages?
I don't know how big of a fan I am
Saga
of the
Frontier
pixel art
2
style of that
Remastered
one.
launches
but-
on Nintendo Switch
Oh, well,
later
Shadow
today.
Drop.
Monument
Valley? Okay.
Embark on peaceful journeys.
Oh, just
across
Monument
this
Valley 1 and
series of
2 for the
beautiful
Switch. Oh, that's
puzzle
neat.
games. Wander through isometric worlds.
Good
filled
preservation.
with stunning landscapes to manipulate. Optical illusions
These games were
to
like
discover,
fucking
and
sick, dude.
mystifying secrets to unfold.
Some of the best like
In
earlier
Monument
mobile
Valley,
games out there.
Lead the silent Princess Ida in her quest for forgiveness while outsmarting the enigmatic Crow people. A different journey awaits in Monument Valley 2. Guide Ro in her adventure through motherhood as she and her child unlock the secrets of the sacred geometry. Both games contain all their additional chapters, add-ons, and DLC.
Nice.
The first two Monument Valley games launch on Nintendo Switch
2 weeks?
April 15th.
Bit over 2 weeks.
Pre-orders begin later today on Nintendo
Very nice.
eShop. And help Noor on her journey to restore the world's light in Monument Valley 3, setting sail on Nintendo Switch this summer.
Nice. Just all three of them. Fuck yeah. Golf game. Oh dear God, that's a character model.
A brand new entry in the Everybody's Golf series is driving onto Nintendo Switch. Aim. Time your button press just right.
Not even
and take your shot.
It's not motion controls. Cringe. Golf on a Nintendo system should have motion controls.
Side spins.
It should be janky
and
as
other
fuck. Otherwise,
special
it's not fun.
shots. In the single-player challenge mode, compete in tournaments and face off against a range
I
of
do not
rivals to
know how I
become
feel
the
about these
ultimate
character
golfer.
models. I'm gonna be real.
In Wacky Golf, your
Wacky
shots could get
Golf.
pulled into holes, or obstacles might fall. It's golf that's not quite
Fuck you.
par for the
Brick
course.
be upon ye.
Up to 4 golfers can hit the fairway together locally or in online play. So just relax and get ready to tee off.
I know what I feel and it's
Everybody's
bad.
Golf Hot Shots lands on Nintendo Switch this year.
Sure, dude. Okay. Oh, a Marvel thing.
Unite some of Marvel's greatest superheroes in the fight against evil. Pair up 2 heroes from the roster of 15,
Huh.
including the likes of the spectacular Spider-Man and the ferocious Wolverine to take on the challenge.
Side-scroller
From
PvE
close-quarters
fighter.
combatants to aerial aces, you can mix and match a variety of heroes for an amazing array of possibilities. And swap between your team of 2 at any
Yeah, this
time.
looks like some 16-bit era
Take
game. Yeah,
advantage of
exactly.
your team's strength
This is
to
straight out of the
overwhelm your
SNES.
foes. Plus, up to 4 players can assemble for local or online co-op play.
Assemble. I see what they did there. It's like the
The
Avengers.
battle for the fate of the Marvel Universe begins when Marvel Cosmic Invasion launches on the Nintendo Switch system this holiday.
Yeah, so they're like the Switch is being supported for like this entire
That
year
was
still.
Marvel Cosmic Invasion, where you'll battle as a tag team of different superheroes. Next is our last game announcement.
All right.
Please take a look.
I have no fucking idea what to expect. Genuinely no clue. Animal Crossing? No. No, it wouldn't be.
I'm a buckle. Tornadoes are haunted.
You're kidding. This is not what I think it is, right? I put this in the tags as a joke. Is this fucking... I know some people be losing their fucking shit right now. Yeah, it is Tamagotchi Live too! I put this in the tags as a joke. Oh, I know some people are losing their fucking minds right now.
Did you want to talk?
Oh my god, no.
Glad that was only a dream.
Oh, the Tamagotchi Life speech synthesis is so ass, it's so funny.
Tamagotchi Life, living the dream. The first new entry in the series.
Or 3, right? Tamagotchi Life 3, not 2.
In the trailer, we saw Mii characters living on an island out at sea.
That's so
what kinds
funny.
of interactions do you think they'll have?
That's so funny.
We hope you're looking forward to it.
I know at least like 5 people who are screaming right now.
Thank you for watching today's Nintendo Direct so far. Our final announcement is something a little different that's
What?
not a game.
What?
Here's Mr. Miyamoto to introduce it.
Huh? Oh, Mario movie.
Hello, I'm Shigeru Miyamoto.
Mario movie too?
Thank you for watching today's Nintendo Direct. Since 2011, Nintendo Direct has delivered Nintendo news directly to you.
Uh-huh.
And now, these presentations have grown into an event that many people watch.
Uh-huh.
Thank you all very much. We'll continue to broadcast Nintendo Direct presentations, but we're also launching a new channel based on the concept of delivering information to you directly.
Huh?
This is a smart device app called Nintendo Today,
Oh.
which functions like a daily calendar. In the app, you can view different Nintendo events. We will also be delivering all sorts of content about
Aw.
Nintendo games and characters every
Pikmin
day.
4 comics.
After the Nintendo Direct for Nintendo Switch 2 on April 2nd, news about Nintendo Switch 2 will be delivered to you daily and directly
Wow.
through the Nintendo Today app as well. Nintendo
Directly
Today
to you,
will
I
be
miss
available
Iwata,
to
yeah.
download on smart devices
Huh.
later today.
Daily info about the Switch 2
Anyone
after
with
the
a
Direct.
Nintendo
I am
account can
definitely
use the app,
downloading that.
So please try it out.
That's a good way to market
That's all
your
I have to
shit.
share. I hope you enjoy using Nintendo Today.
That just reminds me
That's
of like
all for
the
today's
Road to
Nintendo
Smash.
Direct.
Whenever a new
Thank you
Smash
for
game was revealed, that like Sakurai would post like a screenshot or like some piece of information daily, right? That kind of reminds me of that. Okay, I mean, hey, Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi Life were both things I was not expecting. And the thing is, that Tamagotchi Life is 2026. That's not a Switch 2 game. That's just a Switch 1 game. Which, like, I mean, Nintendo's really smart, right? Nintendo's really smart here, because the Switch 1, really big user base. Obviously, not everyone is going to migrate over to the Switch 2 instantly, right? I obviously am. I'm sure a lot of, like, big Nintendo fans are gonna buy a Switch 2 within the year of 2025, right? That's pretty easy to assume that as long as there is enough stock for it, I bet that the Switch 2 will sell quite well in the first year. Just because it is a second Switch, right? And the thing is, you can continue playing your Switch 1 games. Like, I will probably... oh my god, Yo, it's Silk Song! Holy shit! Oh, that's funny. Holy shit! This Direct felt like being shot in the head with a 50 cal multiple times. But yeah, like, it's smart of Nintendo to keep releasing Switch 1 games that people enjoy. The thing is, like, this is only their Switch 1 lineup. Obviously, their Switch 2 lineup is going to be pretty big, right? Because they need to have enough. They specifically delayed the Switch 2. It was supposed to be a holiday last year, right? Switch 2 was supposed to be either like March this year or like holiday last year, and they delayed it a couple of months so that they could beef up their launch lineup even more, right? There are even rumors that they delayed it like an entire year, just for the purposes of like making more launch window games. And by launch window, I mean like from console release up until the end of this year's holiday season. Right? So they probably have quite a lot. And the thing is, we have no idea what to expect for Switch 2. Because the only thing that we know about that's probably releasing alongside the Switch 2 is Metroid Prime 4, right? It's I just can't imagine that with the Switch 2 having that, like, mouse functionality, that Metroid Prime 4 isn't a cross-gen launch title, right? I cannot imagine them not launching Metroid Prime 4 on the day the Switch 2 releases as, like, a proper demo of that mouse feature and, like, a game that's actually designed to have it, right? Or that actually functions with it. It's a shooter. Obviously, that's gonna fucking work, right? So I cannot imagine them launching that at any other time than the launch of the Switch 2. But apart from that, what do we really have? Like, genuinely, what do we have? Because Pokemon Legends CA is a Switch 1 title. Tomodachi Life that we now know of is a Switch 1 title. There's a Professor Layton game that we know is coming out as a Switch 1 title. Or is that game already out? I don't actually remember. Like, we know of a couple Switch 1 things, but, like, there have not been many games that, apart from the Mario Kart, like, we know there's a Switch 2 Mario Kart. That's it. We know there's a Switch 2 Mario Kart. And we know nothing about it. Apart from the fact that it had, like, 24-player races, right? That's the only thing we know about it. We know nothing else. Yeah, Mario Kart 10. Yeah, exactly. And for the people confused, it is likely going to be called Mario Kart X or Mario Kart 10. If they number it, the number's going to be 10. Because internally, Nintendo sees Mario Kart Tour as MK9. So for the people confused that, like, why isn't it Mario Kart 9? We already have Mario Kart 9. It's Tour. Yeah. So, but, like, outside of that, I mean, you know, realistically speaking, right? If we're thinking realistically, there's probably gonna be a 3D Mario in the first year. I don't think the console will launch with a 3D Mario. I don't think it will. Mainly because Nintendo consoles haven't launched with a 3D Mario since the DS. The DS was the last console to launch with a 3D Mario, and even then, that was just Super Mario 64 DS, right? That wasn't like a new game, that was a remaster. That was a remaster of an already existing game at some new levels, right? No, Odyssey launched on October 27th. That launched in the holiday season of the Switch's first year, about 7 months in, or 6 months in. So no, Odyssey did not launch, when the Switch came out. 3D World took like 2 years on the Wii U. 3DS never had, oh no, it did have, it had 3D Land, which also came out like 2 or 3 years into the 3DS. So, like, they haven't launched a new console with a 3D Mario in ages. The GameCube, they launched with Luigi's Mansion. The last home console that they launched with a Mario game, or with a 3D Mario game. The last home console they launched with a 3D Mario game was the Nintendo 64. they launched the Wii U with Super Mario Bros. U, but like, who cared? You know, that was like the third one that we had of the new Super Mario Brothers series, and then we got another new Super Mario Brothers game in that same year on the 3DS. So like, no one gave a fuck, right? So they haven't launched a home console with a 3D Mario since the N64. But there's typically been a 3D Mario pretty close to launch. The Wii had Galaxy, which actually, I think Galaxy took a while. Yeah, because the Wii came out in 2006. And Galaxy was 2009, right? Or 2007, okay, never mind. Yeah, I'm stupid. It was Galaxy 2 was 2009, I believe. Or 2010, yeah. So yeah, we had Super Mario Galaxy was like the holiday season of 2007, about a year after the Wii came out. GameCube had Super Mario Sunshine, which was about a year after. I hope there are gay people in Tamagotchi Life. Me too. Me too. Gay marriage in Tamagotchi Life. Make it happen, Nintendo. Go woke. But what I'm expecting is... So, here's my, like, vision for Switch 2 launch year, right? They're gonna launch it. Obviously, Metroid Prime 4. It's also a Switch 1 game, but the majority of people who like really who are like diehard Nintendo fans gonna want to play on Switch 2. It's gonna be a little different from back with Breath of the Wild on the original Switch, because obviously, who the fuck wanted to play Breath of the Wild on the Wii U, right? No one fucking cared. I'm sure some people played it on the Wii U when it first came out because they owned a Wii U but didn't have the money to get a Switch immediately, or they struggled to get a Switch because it wasn't, like, easily available when it first came out. But, like, not many people saw Breath of the Wild as a Wii U game. Breath of the Wild was seen as a Switch launch game. It was not seen as a Wii U game. Metroid Prime 4 is different. Metroid Prime 4 is very much still seen as a Switch 1 game. And I'm assuming that on day one, my guess is that the majority of people will be playing it on the OG Switch. So they can't really push Metroid Prime 4 as their big launch title, right? They can't really do that because there's already 120 million systems out there in the world that can play Metroid Prime 4. Whereas back with the Wii U, there was only like 30 million at most, and I bet you at least half of those weren't being used. So they could push Breath of the Wild as their like big launch title because they knew people would want to play it on the new system. And the majority of people, the vast majority of people did, and it made the Switch an instantly well-selling console. They can't do that for Metroid Prime 4, so there has to be another big launch title that we do not yet know about. And I honestly could see it being Mario Kart. Mario Kart to me is a summer game. Like, Mario Kart is a game that you release in, like, June, July. And, like, you know, you have people play it all throughout the summer. The problem is the Switch 2 is likely releasing in June, July. So, at most, Mario Kart will release, like, a month or two into the Switch 2's life. At most, they're like, the Switch 2 comes out, they'll have some big launch title that we do not yet know about, and then a month or two later, boom, here's a new Mario Kart. Because it feels weird to launch a console with Mario Kart. It does. Like, obviously, them showing off that game is an easy win, because everyone's like, oh, wow, yeah, new Mario Kart. Of course there's a new fucking Mario Kart. Like, no one was not expecting a new Mario Kart. Everyone knew there was gonna be a new Mario Kart, likely within the next 2 years. So them showing that off basically revealed nothing, which is why they did it, because they wanted it to be focused on the console alone. But it feels weird to launch a console with Mario Kart. Mario Kart, I don't think, is a good launch title, because I don't think party games, or like, I just don't think games like that are a good launch titles, are like big single-player games with potential, like, if it has, like, couch co-op or something like that, sure. Like, you know, a lot of Mario games have had couch co-op, for example. But to me, like, a good launch title is a, like, single-player game that you can really just sink your teeth into, which is why Breath of the Wild was really, really good. But, like, a 3D Mario would be a good launch. Like, if there was an Odyssey-level 3D Mario game as a launch title, that is a single-player game that you can really sink your teeth into, right? So it would be a good launch title. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good launch title. I just don't think... if it's Galaxy 3, like, you'll see me crying live on stream next week. Just full disclosure. If it's Galaxy 3, you'll see me crying live on stream next week. But yeah, I think it would be smarter for Nintendo to launch the Switch 2 with a different big launch title. The thing is, like, what series would it be? Because obviously it won't be a Zelda game, right? Tears of the Kingdom is only, like, 2 years old. There's no way there's another, like, big main series Zelda game. There's probably one, like, early in the works, you know, I'm sure there is. It's probably not a sequel to Tears of the Kingdom. I'm sure they're, like, gonna try something new, because, you know, they've used the same Hyrule twice now. I'm sure they're gonna try, like, a new kind of formula. Maybe they're gonna stick with open world, but gonna make it slightly different. Maybe they're gonna, like, try something completely new. I'm sure that they are in the early stages of working on that, but that's absolutely not... like, I'm not expecting a Zelda game in the first year of the Switch 2. Not in the slightest. Not even, like, a remake or something, because I think honestly, if there was, like, an old Zelda game that was being remade, like... that shit would 100% launch on Switch 1. Like, if it was some, like, Twilight Princess HD, or, like, a Wind Waker HD port from the Wii U, that shit would 100% just run on the Switch 1, right? They wouldn't make that Switch 2 exclusive. At most, maybe, like, a Tears of the Kingdom Definitive Edition. I could see them doing... like, or, like, maybe a collection of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, enhanced graphics, 60 FPS, with maybe, like, for Breath of the Wild, it would be included with, like, all of the DLC, and for Tears of the Kingdom, maybe they would add some extra content to the game, right? Because Tears of the Kingdom never got DLC. So I could see them doing, like, a Tears of the Kingdom Definitive Edition for the Switch 2, right? That absolutely, within the first year, like... I consider that very reasonable, if that's a thing. And honestly, I think that we're gonna see quite a few enhanced editions of games from Nintendo. Well, maybe not quite a few. I think quite a few is a bit of an exaggeration. But, like, Tears of the Kingdom is absolutely a game I could see them making an enhanced edition of, just because it was such a big commercial success, and, like, how nice would it be if they could just sell that game again? Right? They could just sell the fucking game again. Isn't it great? You've sold a game to a system with 120 million consoles sold, and now you get to sell it again on a new system, and people will buy it. Because the one major criticism of Tears of the Kingdom when it first came out was that occasionally there would be some frame drops. That was, like, the only major complaint that, like, everyone shared. Everyone was like, yep, the game has occasional frame drops. It didn't ruin my experience, and I don't think it ruined most people's experience, because the game was just that good, that, like, the occasional frame drop when you used Ultra Hand was completely forgivable. But if their selling point is quite literally just, hey, here's Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, we've added a couple of new shrines and, like, a couple of new DLC things. Maybe they add, like, the Master Trial in, or, like, Master Mode. Fucking give Tears of the Kingdom Master Mode, right? We've given Tears of the Kingdom similar DLC to Breath of the Wild. It now runs in 60 FPS in 1080, maybe even 1440. I don't know if the Switch 2 can handle that, but fuck it, sure. But, like, it runs 1080, 60. The graphics look a lot better, textures are higher resolution, there's a couple of new things to do, and it's $70. Have fun. People will buy it. I would buy it. And if they want to be really, really nice, they're going to go, oh, if you already have a cartridge of Tears of the Kingdom, whether that's a virtual cartridge or a digital game card, which is what they showed off today, you can upgrade for 20 bucks. Right? 100% that shit would get people excited. That would get me excited. I would play Tears of the Kingdom again. I would 100% play Tears of the Kingdom again if that was a thing that released. Would I pay 70 bucks for it? Probably not. Would I pay like 30, 40 bucks for it if it came with extra DLC? Absolutely. 100% I would. So I could see them do that. Maybe not as like a launch thing. I could see them do that as a launch. Probably not as launch though. I could see that being like, you know, like September, August, maybe. And then yeah, I think the 3D Mario is gonna be holiday. I think we have a holiday 3D Mario, launching late October, early November, right before Black Friday, so that they can sell like Switch 2 bundles with the new 3D Mario game, for the holiday season, right? And then for year 2, like, I mean, we know for a fact now there's still games planned for the Switch 1 in 2026. Like, Tomodachi Life is a first-party Nintendo title. Rhythm Heaven is a first-party Nintendo title. And that shit's coming out, like, I believe both of those were 2026, yeah? Was Rhythm Heaven... Yeah, Rhythm Heaven Groove was 2026. Was Tomodachi Life 2026?
Island Out at Sea.
Yeah, Tomodachi Life 2026. So, like, they're still supporting the Switch 1 going into 2026, and I'm sure that they will continue to. I'm sure that indie developers will continue to. Like, if an indie game is graphically intense enough that it needs the Switch 2, I'm sure they'll launch it on Switch 2 only. But, like, for indie devs, the Switch is still a great system to launch your games on, even today, because it is a console with 120 million sold. There's 120 million of them out there. And the audience of the Switch is a big indie game fan. Like, the indie game fans and Switch users have a lot of overlap. Like, a lot of it. So obviously, there are going to be people who exclusively use a Switch to play first-party Nintendo titles, right? And me personally, I count myself among them, but that's mostly because most of the indie games that release on Switch that I would want to play also release on PC, and I have a good PC, but a lot of people don't. And for those people that don't, the Switch is by far the best platform to play indie games on, unless you, like, have a Steam Deck or something, right? But, you know, at that point, you're gonna play PC games on that Steam Deck. If the Switch is, like, one of the only things you own, even if you own a Switch and, like, a PlayStation, or, God forbid, an Xbox, like, you're gonna play indie games on your Switch. That's gonna be the ideal platform for it. So indie developers are gonna keep launching their games on Switch 1 for probably, at minimum, another 2 years. Like, I would not be surprised if there is still games coming out for the original Switch in 2027. I genuinely would not be surprised. That console is gonna straight up last 10 years. It's gonna hit its 10-year anniversary, and it's still gonna have new games on the eShop. Genuinely, I believe that. But for Switch 2, I think Nintendo is going to dynamically change at what point they are going to stop developing for the original Switch. And it all depends on how well the Switch 2 sells, not just in its first year, because the thing that you have to remember about Nintendo consoles is that the Wii U sold well in its first, like, 3 months, right? The Wii U sold like most other Nintendo consoles did in the first 3 months. And then it just fucking plummeted. Because Nintendo consoles always sell well in the first half a year. Because Nintendo fans are gonna buy it regardless, right? It's a difference between Xbox and PlayStation is that Nintendo has a different culture associated with their consoles and with their fan base. A new Nintendo console, the hardcore Nintendo game fans are always gonna buy that console, no matter what games are launching on it. Even, like, I've never played a Metroid Prime game. The game I care most about is the 3D Mario. If the 3D Mario is a holiday title, and like Metroid Prime 4 is their only like big title on day one, I'm buying a Switch 2 and I'm playing Metroid Prime 4. Because I want to play the new Nintendo thing, right? And there's gonna be a lot of people like that. So the Switch 2 is going to sell, if you compare it to the original Switch, it's probably gonna sell equally well, if not slightly better, because there's more Nintendo fans out there now than there were back when the Switch first came out, because then we just came hot off the presses of the Wii U. So the Switch 2 is gonna sell well, and it's gonna have a pretty strong launch. Or the Switch 2 is gonna sell well, and it's gonna have a pretty strong launch, right? But I think how Nintendo moves over to the Switch 2, and when they're going to like stop developing games for the Switch 1 themselves, is gonna depend entirely on how the Switch 2 sells from about February 2026 onward. Right? Because obviously in the holiday season of 2025, they're gonna sell a fuck ton of them, right? It's the holidays. A lot of kids are going to be asking for the shiny new Nintendo system and the shiny new Mario game, and a lot of parents are going to buy it, right? The Switch 2 is going to sell well in the holiday season. Of course it is. But I think Nintendo is awaiting how many Switch 2 consoles they'll sell in January and February of 2026, after the holiday season. How many people are still interested in buying the new Nintendo system? And if that is looking the same as the original Switch, if it's selling the same numbers as the original Switch, then they'll probably, like, not start any new Switch 1 projects anymore. That's my guess. They'll probably stop working on Switch 1 projects, and they'll go fully into the Switch 2. If it doesn't sell as well, they're probably gonna try to milk the Switch 1 for everything that it's worth for a little bit longer, while they're obviously still going to work on Switch 2 games, right? They're always going to work on Switch 2 games. But the question is how much. Like, if you remember, back when the Switch came out, like, the 3DS was still being actively supported, and you could tell that Nintendo had, like, 2 more years of 3DS support planned out before they, like, decided to drop it. Because they did not know if the Switch was gonna flop the same way the Wii U did, and they needed to sell games for a console that had a user base, and the 3DS had a pretty solid user base by the time that the Switch 2 came, or that the Switch 1 came out. But because they weren't sure, they kept making games for the 3DS, like, well into 2018 and even early 2019. What was the last... Hold on, let me check. Last Nintendo published 3DS game. Last first-party game released on the 3DS was WarioWare Gold. In late 2018. Yeah. So they continued supporting the 3DS until like almost 2 years after the Switch came out. Almost 2 years, like a year and 8 months, year and 9 months. And I'm expecting Nintendo to want to do the same. They probably have a bit more confidence now than they did back with the original Switch, because back with the original Switch, you know, the 3DS was less successful than the DS. The Wii U was significantly less successful than the Wii. Both were sequel consoles to consoles that they already had in the past, and they both did, relatively speaking, poorly. Obviously, the Wii U just straight up did poorly. The 3DS only did poorly at launch, then they had the price drop, and they did a lot better. And then they also had stuff like the 2DS, and at one point, like, the entry fee to get a 3DS console to play 3DS games was like $80. And that's when a lot of people started buying in, because they were just able to pump these things out for so fucking cheap that it was worth getting a 3DS literally just to play one game. And you wouldn't have to get like a new 3DS, like, it was worth getting a 2DS just to play like one fucking game. Easily, right? Obviously that's gonna be different with this, right? This is a home console. They're not gonna be able to make these things so fucking cheap that the entry level is so low that people are gonna be able to get in for just one game. You're not gonna be able to justify that purchase, right? Absolutely not. But I do think they have a lot more confidence going into this generation, but they also have some generational trauma from back with the Wii U, because they probably had a lot of confidence with the Wii U, because, you know, the Wii did so well, and we're making, like, a sequel to the Wii, like, of course that's gonna do well, and then it didn't. They were too cocky with the Wii U. They were too cocky with the 3DS. They priced the 3DS too high. And they didn't really have many, like, titles to show for it on either console. Like, the Wii U launched with New Super Mario Bros. U, which, like, yes, it's a 2D Mario game. Yeah, it's a good game. New Super Mario Bros. U is an objectively good platformer. It is not a bad game. It is a really, really fun game that everyone who picked that up at launch had a good time playing it. But it's not a selling point for a new console. It's absolutely not a selling point. Like, if the Wii U had launched with a 2D Mario like Wonder, I think the perception would have been vastly different. Because Wonder was extremely unique. You had no idea what to expect. The game structure was vastly different. Power-ups were vastly different. Level structure was vastly different. It felt like a genuinely unique 2D Mario. And NSMBU did not feel like a genuine, unique Mario title. It felt like, what if we made more New Super Mario Brothers levels? And they were all good. They were good levels. Of course they were. But Nintendo was too cocky with the launch of the Wii U. And while I do think that Nintendo can have a high amount of confidence going into the Switch 2, I do not think they can be as cocky as they were with the Wii U. And I think this Direct right here proves that they're not. This Direct proves that they are not as cocky as with the Wii U. Because right here, they've just shown we still have multiple big titles that people have been asking for releasing on the original Switch as late as a year from now. So, like, if you own your original Switch and you don't want to upgrade just yet, you want to see what we got first, that's okay. We got some stuff for you. That was not the case with the Wii. They abandoned the Wii pretty much as soon as the Wii U was announced. Like, what was their last big Wii title? What was their last first-party Wii title? Let's see. Okay, well, fuck it. List of Wii games. Let's scroll all the way. Oh my god, this list is massive. Sort by... Can I sort by release date? Yes. Holy shit, this list is big. Oh my god, right. Fucking Just Dance. Forgot about that. Alright, and then I just search Nintendo. I go all the way to the bottom of the page. Oh my god, Wikipedia, why are you like this? Oh, and it's completely fucked up the sorting. Oh, no, wait. No, that was bundled games. Never mind. The last game that Nintendo published was Inazuma 11 Strikers. That's crazy. That was the last Nintendo published game for the Wii. Rhythm Heaven Fever. It was like, yeah, 2012. When did the Wii U release? Nintendo stopped publishing games on the Wii 6 months before the launch of the Wii U. Like more, 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months before the launch of the Wii U, Nintendo completely stopped supporting the Wii. They did not release another Wii title. Other people were obviously still releasing Wii titles because the Wii was still doing very well. But yeah, Nintendo stopped supporting the Wii. And that was by far their biggest mistake. Like, easily, that was a massive blunder. And you can see, they're not making that mistake again, because the Switch 2 is gonna release in a couple of months. And Nintendo still has a year of games coming to the Switch 1. Right? So they're not making that mistake again. They're not that cocky this time. They are not that cocky. So they've learned from that mistake. They've also learned from their naming mistake. I know a lot of people gave the name of the Switch 2 a lot of shit for it not, like, being, like, creative or fun. And I'm like, f that. This console, if it was named anything other than Switch 2, if you claim this console should have been named anything other than Switch 2, you have fundamentally misunderstood Nintendo's history as a console developer. Because one of the major reasons that the Wii U failed was that it did not separate itself enough from the Wii. There were so many things called the Wii something. There was the Wii balance board. There was the, like, so many, like, the Wii wheel for Mario Kart. There was the Wii drawing tablet, the U-Draw tablet, which literally looked like a fucking Wii U gamepad to a lot of people. It was this white fucking controller, this white tablet. It didn't have an actual screen, but, like, it had, you know, a screen cutout that you could use the pen on. And people kind of just assumed that when they first unveiled the Wii U, another issue, when they first unveiled the Wii U, they didn't show the system. They focused almost entirely on the controller. So when people saw Wii U and the images that they saw were the gamepad, they were like, oh, the Wii U is a new controller for the Wii that has a screen on it, so that you can play games on that screen instead of on the TV. That's what people thought. It was a, you know, this wasn't the age of, yes, it was the age of the internet, but it wasn't the age of the internet in the sense that, like, you could easily find all of your information on the internet. It was still, like, it was harder to find information back then. So it was harder for the average consumer who didn't fully focus on Nintendo stuff and didn't know that there was a new console coming out. They thought it was a new controller and they lost interest because they were like, oh, well, I already have my Wii. And I already have so many Wii somethings, why should I get this one? Right? Oh, a game I can play only if I have the new controller is a new Mario game that is basically just the same game that I already own on my system, but just different levels? Nah, I'm good. Right? Like, you see how bad of a selling point that was? Whereas if they had, I don't think it would have changed much. Here's, like, obviously the name alone wouldn't have changed much, but if they had named it, this is the Wii 2, people would go, holy shit, it's the sequel to that system that I love so much and that I love to play Wii Sports on and absolutely nothing fucking else. I'm in. You know, I'm sure that wouldn't have been everyone, but there were gonna be a couple of people who would be like, oh, I liked the Wii, and this is the new one. Yeah, I'm interested. Tell me, what do you have? Right? 3DS, same problem. There were a total of 4 DS console revisions. We had the original DS, then we had the DS Lite, the DSi, and the DSi XL. And then they decided to name it the 3DS, which obviously, you know, it can do 3D, but I remember quite a few people back then, including my own parents, and this is why, like, I never had a 3DS. I have never owned a 3DS. Because my parents wouldn't get me one. Because they were like, oh, it's just a DS, with the difference being that you can play the games in 3D, and that's bad for your eyes anyway, so you already have a DS, why do you need it? They fundamentally did not understand that it was a new system, and not just another DS revision, right? And a lot of people, especially parents of kids, who are going to buy kids their consoles, and they're not going to be consuming all of the information about it, they're just going to go, oh, but you already have a DS. And now, this is like, now any kid who actually knows their stuff can go to their parents and go, no, this isn't a Switch. This is the new second Switch. This is not just like a revision. This is a new thing. You know how, like, the PlayStation, the PlayStation, right? PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like that. And instantly, you're gonna have parents who are gonna go, oh, I get it. Here is your Switch 2 with a bundled 3D Mario game for the holiday season of 2025, my dear child of unknown gender. Right? So, calling it the Switch 2 was the only option. It was realistically the only option. And saying that, like, is it boring? Can you call it boring? I think that's fair. Well, I think it's reasonable. I don't think it's fair. Is this, ultimately speaking, a boring Nintendo system compared to previous systems? Excluding maybe, like, the GameCube? Yes. Because I think the GameCube was basically, if we're talking on, like, the scale of boring, I think the GameCube was pretty equally boring to the Switch 2. Because the GameCube had no unique thing about it. It was literally just the sequel to the Nintendo 64. Not in name, obviously. In name, it was very different, but it was just a more powerful Nintendo system that plays more intensive games. It was a direct competitor to the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox. There was nothing Nintendo about it, apart from the fact that it was a Nintendo system. The Switch 2 is less similar to that, because the Switch 2 does have unique things about it, right? It's a hybrid console, first of all, which the only other hybrid console on the market that is actually meant to be a console is the original Switch. The Sony only has the PlayStation Portal, which is a cloud streaming device. Xbox is apparently thinking of releasing a handheld, but at the moment, all Xbox has is just you being able to stream Xbox cloud games onto your phone. Right? That's it. They have nothing else. Nintendo is the only console manufacturer with an actual hybrid console. Yes, the Steam Deck exists. Fundamentally different device. Right? Fundamentally, entirely different device. So it does have unique things about it, because it is that hybrid console with, like, the Joy-Con that you can snap off of it, which are now magnetic, obviously. They have that mouse feature. I'm sure that there's gonna be other gimmicks with this new system, but is it less than what a typical Nintendo system would have? Is it less, like, revolutionary? Yeah, it absolutely is. Like, obviously, the Wii had a controller with an accelerometer and an infrared pointer and a gyroscope? Huh? and the controller wasn't something you held with two hands, but you just held it with one hand, and it was this long, like, TV remote looking thing. The last time we had TV remote controllers was the fucking what? Some of the, like, earlier Atari consoles who had that fucking number pad, right? So the Wii was, ultimately speaking, revolutionary, and it had, like, some really, really unique things about it. The DS, a dual screen handheld. Obviously, the handheld that you would, like, you know, flip open and then, like, you could, like, you know, snap it shut like a mobile phone. They already did that. They had the Game Boy Advance SP. That did exactly that. To be fair, some of the earlier Game & Watch systems that they made, they had a couple dual screen Game & Watch systems, which the DS heavily took inspiration from design-wise. But, you know, it was a unique thing. There was a touchscreen for the first time, you know, mobile phones, or smartphones had only just started to, like, become a thing, right? When did the original DS release? The DS released in 2004? The original iPhone released in 2007. Smartphones weren't even a thing yet. Touchscreens were this, like, revolutionary new thing, and the DS had it, right? So it was very unique. 3DS, less unique. It was a I think, honestly, if you compare the Switch 2 to anything in terms of, like, amount of innovation, you compare it to the 3DS. I think the Switch 2 is as close to the 3DS as it could possibly get, because ultimately, the 3DS was just a more powerful DS. Like, internally, if you just looked at the guts of the system, it was a more powerful DS, just like the Switch 2 fundamentally is just a more powerful Switch. It's the same thing that you know and love. It is the hybrid console. For the 3DS, it was that dual screen system, you know, 4-phase buttons on the right, D-pad on the left, triggers on the back, touchscreen on the bottom, big screen on the top. Same with Switch 2. You know the tried and true formula. You can take the controllers off and use them as separate controllers. You can dock it and play it on the TV as a kickstand. You can play it on the table. You can take it with you wherever you want to go, and then you can come back at home and play it on your TV. Fundamentally, same concept. Internally, just a more powerful Switch. The 3DS had so much more memory than the DS, though. Oh yeah, it was a significant upgrade, and I'm sure the Switch 2 is too. I mean, the original Switch, when it came out, used hardware from, like, 2014, 2015. It's 10 years later now. Like, of course the Switch 2 is going to be more powerful. The screen is probably going to be more powerful. I don't know if they'll ship it with an OLED screen. I personally don't think they will. I'm a big believer in Nintendo shipping this with an LCD screen, and then shipping an OLED version in, like, 2027, so that people double dip. I do, and also, I think they don't want to launch multiple versions. I think, at the very least, there's going to be an LCD version of the system available, right? Just so there's a cheaper version out there. I genuinely think that is the smartest thing to do. Nintendo has always had cheaper consoles than its competitors. Like, almost always, Nintendo consoles have been cheaper. And that's one of the biggest selling points that they have for, like, parents, right? If you compare, the original Switch launched at $299, compared to, at the time, the Xbox One and the PS4, which were both retailing for, like, $400, $500, right? Sure, you can get them for a little cheaper than that because they were already out at that time, but, like, you know, 2 years into the Switch's life, you could get a new Switch for $250. Right now, you can easily find a Switch 1 for $250, especially now that the Switch 2 is announced. Easily. And I think they want to keep the price as cheap as possible, so I think at the very least there's going to be an LCD option available. But also, in terms of production of a new system, having to produce multiple different versions at launch is risky, because you're gonna risk one of your versions being less available than the other. Nintendo would have to judge internally what they think the ratio between people who want to buy an LCD versus people who want to buy an OLED is. And if they get that ratio wrong, they are going to lose console sales. Because they're only going to be able to produce so many. It's probably... They say they're going to be able to cope with demand, but ultimately, you know, there's going to be scalpers, right? Scalpers exist. It's going to be harder to find. And some people will really want that OLED. And if that OLED is not available, they're going to wait until that OLED is available. Some people don't want to spend that money and just want to spend the money on an HDR system or on an LCD system. And if that's not going to be available, they're not going to buy it and they're just going to wait. So if they get that ratio wrong, and if they produce too little of one of the systems and too many of the other one, they are going to lose sales. So I don't think strategically it is smart to launch two versions of this console on the same day, which is why I think they're launching it LCD. Because then if they're just launching it LCD, everyone's going to buy it LCD. And I'm sure there's going to be some people out there who are like, oh, I'll wait till the OLED in 2 years. But like, if those people probably weren't that excited about buying a Switch 2 at launch anyway. If they want to wait for like a revision that's not even announced yet, they probably weren't going to buy it anyway. But the people out there who do really want an OLED version, and they're going to buy the LCD version, if 2 years from now they're announcing the OLED version, there's going to be a couple people double dipping. It's probably not going to be many, but there's going to be a few, right? And they can just make some extra money from that. So I don't think it's launching OLED. I think it's launching cheap. I think it's launching with LCD. They might, at most, launch multiple storage options. I could see them doing that. I could see them... I don't think they're going to do a digital-only system, right? I think Nintendo is not... Nintendo's only ever done one... Oh, no, they've not done one. They've never done a digital-only system. Or have they? Oh, God. No, they did the Wii Family Edition, or the Wii Mini, which couldn't connect to the... It was a physical-only system. Nintendo, I don't think, has ever done a digital-only system. No, they haven't. Nintendo has never done a digital-only system, and for the foreseeable future, I don't think they will. I don't think Nintendo's gonna do a digital-only system because they care way too much about their physical media, and that's why I appreciate them as much as I do, because I also care a lot about physical media. But I could see them launch multiple storage options. But then again, you know, it has expandable flash storage. You can put an SD card in, and get more storage that way. Maybe they're even gonna have the ability to just straight up plug an SSD into the dock, into a USB port on the dock, or into like the USB-C port at the top of the system. Who the fuck knows, right? But yeah, at most I'm like, maybe they'll launch it with more storage, because I do think that the Switch 2 needs more storage than the original Switch. The Switch 1... How much storage did that have at launch? It had 32 gigs, right? Yeah. The original Switch had 32 gigabytes of internal storage. That was the only option that was available. The OLED then had 64 gigs of internal storage. Once again, that was the only option available. I could see them launch it with multiple storage options. I think the base, at minimum, needs to be 64. Like, I do not think they can sell a 32 gigabyte Switch 2. They'd be fucking stupid if they sold a 32 gigabyte Switch 2. And to be fair, even 64, with like how much the leap is gonna be from the Switch 1 to Switch 2 in terms of like texture quality and game quality, you know, Tears of the Kingdom is a 16 gigabyte game. Now, obviously, that is relatively small compared to modern games. But if you have a 64 gigabyte system and one singular game takes up a quarter of that, and obviously you have like the actually installed software is going to take up a little bit. So like realistically speaking, a third of your system is going to be filled up by installing one game. That's going to suck. Right? So like 64, absolute bare minimum. Really absolute bare minimum. And even then, I think 64 is like, no, I think it needs 128. I genuinely do think it needs 128. Even fucking iPhones are shipping with 128 minimum these days, right? And Apple had storage complaints for years that like they were still selling 64 gigabyte iPhones. And they've recently switched to like 128 is the base storage capacity. And they're even selling like 1 terabyte iPhones now, right? I at the very least, if the base isn't, because you know, it once again comes down to like price, right? It once again comes down to price. There are going to be a lot of people who are only really going to use their Switch for physical games, or they're going to prefer physical games, and they might get, like, the only digital games that they're going to get are, like, indie games that release as digital only, and those typically, not that big, right? For those people, 64 gigs is more than fine. Like, me, personally, I don't know if I'll go for the 64 or 128, but, like, I have a lot of physical games. I would want to get my Switch 2 games physically instead of digitally. I would probably be fine with the 64 gigabyte version and then just toss an SD card in, right? That's probably what I'd do. I can always upgrade my storage with an SD card later. Is it a little bit slower? Yeah, maybe. But I'd probably be okay. But there's gonna be a lot of people who don't like physical stuff. They just want to be able to buy their stuff, have it download onto their system automatically, and be able to play it like the minute it comes out at midnight, boom. For those people, I think they're gonna want 128. But then the question is, like, once again, you're producing two different kinds of systems, and this time it's different because it is only just the storage module, which, like, the storage module, I'm sure they can adjust on the fly, right? I'm sure that on the fly they can go, oh, we're seeing that there's a lot more 64 gigabyte versions being sold. For all these Switches that are currently in production, let's just put 64 gigs in them instead of 128. Let's just change the ratio. For screens, I think that's a little more different because those screens, like, are harder to produce than... It's easier to have a shortage of screens than it is to have a shortage of storage modules. So it is different. But even then, you're still producing two different versions. And they didn't do that with the Switch 1. They didn't have a 64 gigabyte version available. Everyone got 32. The only different quote-unquote version that you could buy were red and blue Joy-Cons versus gray Joy-Cons. That was the only difference, but that's the kind of difference where, like, if I really wanted the gray version, but the only version I could find was red and blue, I'd fucking get the red and blue one, dude. I don't care. I just want to play the system. Ultimately, it's a color on a controller. That is not going to affect. Like, I'm not gonna... If I really want to play Nintendo's new games, I'm not gonna delay buying that system because the controller is a different color. And I think most people wouldn't. So... yeah, I don't know. I hope. I mean, I hope there's a 128 option available for the people that want it. Me, personally, if it has 64, I'll be okay with 64. I'll be fine. I don't think, even if I install all of my digital Switch 1 games, I think... I don't know if that would fill up the 64 gigs. Maybe barely. To be fair, Tears of the Kingdom is a game I own digitally. What other games do I have digitally instead of physically? Pokemon Legends Arceus I have digitally. That's like 6 gigs, I believe. I have, Wonder I have physically. Pokemon Violet. Yeah, I forgot. My Pokemon Violet is digital. But then again, Atlas has Scarlet physically. I think my Brilliant Diamond is also digital. No, my Brilliant Diamond is physical. That is a physical game. But Atlas is Shining Pearl, physical as well. I'm pretty sure actually Atlas has Legends Arceus physically. So, Lamau. And I guess we can now share those game cartridges, even if they are digital, which is really nice. But yeah, so like I'll be fine with the 64 gig version. I hope that, I don't know. I think 64 at launch, they could probably get away with it. Would it be a little shitty for people who are like specs watching? Are they going to be shat on for it? Probably. You know, there's probably going to be some people who are going to be like, ugh, launching a 64 gigabyte system in 2025? Nintendo's a scumbag. But games are so big nowadays. Yes. Counterpoint. Nintendo's aren't. And that's not just because the Switch 1 is a less powerful system. Absolutely not. If any other developer made Tears of the Kingdom, that shit would have been 40 gigs minimum. Even if it looked the exact same, that shit would have been 40 gigs. Reason why? Nintendo cares about physical media. Nintendo cares about their physical games. And how do they save money? How do they save money selling physical games? By not needing more expensive cartridges, right? 100%, the reason Tears of the Kingdom is exactly a 16 gigabyte game is so that it fits on a 16 gig cartridge. They probably optimized it down to like 20, and they were like, oh, but like we have to get a 32 gig cartridge if we want to fit a 20 gigabyte game on it. That's gonna be like 30-40% more expensive to produce. If we can just squish it down into 16 gigs, we can make 30% more profit on every single physical sale. And to them, that's worth it. Like, that was a worthwhile time investment. Because, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom went on to be a great selling game, and a lot of Nintendo fans like owning their games physically. And on every single one of those physical purchases, they make more money. Obviously, they make the most amount of money if you buy it digitally. Because at most, all that they need to do is pay for the bandwidth that it takes for you to download the game from their servers. Which is, like, it's not even pennies, right? So they essentially make full profit off a digital game. But Nintendo knows people care about physical stuff. And so they're not gonna pull a PlayStation or an Xbox and just make their games like so big that they can't even be released physically, or make the most enticing version of a console a digital only system, right? The reason that Xbox and PlayStation sell digital-only systems at a cheaper price is because they want you to get that digital-only system. Because they want you to buy digital games because that makes them more money. Nintendo isn't like that. Nintendo's like, you know what? People care about physical stuff? Hey, that's okay. We can give you physical, but we're still gonna try to make as much profit on those physical games as possible. And because of that, that's why their games are never that big. It's storage-wise, obviously not, like, gameplay-wise. Storage-wise, that's why their games are never that big. And I think the Switch 2 is going to continue that trend. I would not be surprised if the next Mario Kart fits on a 16-gig cartridge. I would not be surprised. The next, like, major Mario Kart game fits on 16 gigs. The next 3D Mario, not be surprised if that fits on 16 gigs. You know how big Odyssey is? Odyssey... storage size. Odyssey, 5.7 gigabytes. It fits on a 6.4 gigabyte cartridge. Or I guess it's an 8 gig cartridge, right? They would use an 8 gig cartridge, yeah. Odyssey is 5.7. Right? I wonder if they'll be using the new NVIDIA texture compression stuff. I mean, there was a patent for, like, like some form of like DLSS, like Nintendo's own like DLSS kind of thing for the Switch 2, right? And the specific thing that they mentioned in that patent, it wasn't to improve game performance or to make games look better, which is what like that's like the modern reason for DLSS, right? It's to make your games look smoother. It's so you can play in higher resolutions at better performance. But Nintendo's reason for DLSS in that patent wasn't listed as better performance or better looking games. It was listed as storage optimization, right? They were like, we want to do DLSS so that we don't have to make our texture quality that high and still have our games look fantastic so that we can optimize on storage. That was one of the major reasons listed in that patent. Nintendo thinks differently. They don't care about the graphical arms race. If they cared about the graphical arms race, this system would have been out 4 years ago. If they cared about graphics at all, if they cared about making the best looking realistic art style game on the planet, this system wouldn't have even fucking been a hybrid. This would have been a home console. The hybrid would have been something entirely separate. They do not give a shit about the graphics arms race because they know it's pointless. Because they know that ultimately the thing that sells games is not visuals. The things that sells games is a fun game to play. And obviously, visuals can add to that. Absolutely. Like, a game can be more fun because it looks really good. But it's never gonna be more than like 20%. You know, there's some incredibly real... Cyberpunk 2077, when it first came out, was a fantastic looking game. And oh my god, did it suck. Dick. You know? Because looks don't tell the story of a game. Looks are just there to support it. Just like how music is there to support it. It enhances the experience, but it's not the experience itself. Visuals are not the experience itself. Music is not the experience itself. The experience itself is the buttons you're pressing and what that does in the game. That's the experience. And that's what they care about. And something like DLSS is gonna help them ship games with similar storage sizes on the Switch 2 compared to the Switch 1, even though they are significantly better looking. They're gonna look next-gen Nintendo. They're not gonna look next-gen. Like, people expecting games to look like the PS5 are, well, how do you nicely say that someone severely lacks an education? You know? Dude, holy shit, I've been talking about this for like an hour and a half now. The direct ended like an hour and 20 minutes ago. Oh, I love rambling. Oh my god, I love rambling. Yeah, it's... The direct ended over an hour ago. But yeah, like... What I'm hoping to see out of the Switch 2 is literally just, like, I want it to be a more powerful Switch. I want to play the first-party Nintendo titles. First-party Nintendo, well, been a little bit dry over the last couple of years, and that makes sense, you know? They're big development teams. The development teams that work on games like Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Kart, Metroid Prime 4, all of those, like, big development teams have been hunkering down on the Switch 2, and all of the smaller teams have been working on games like Mario and Luigi Brothership, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, you know, the smaller first-party stuff, which is still really good, but it is smaller. So the first-party Nintendo well has been a little bit dry for the last years, but not nearly as dry as like the last years of the Wii U or the last years of the Wii, because the last years of those systems, Nintendo wasn't even making anything else. They were just working on the new stuff. They did not give any room to making titles for the older system. The last Wii U game that they published, I think they published it like, oh god, did Nintendo publish any Wii U games in 2017 or in 2016? Nintendo published Wii U games 2016. Wii U games from 2016. So, in 2016, they published Star Fox Zero, Twilight Princess HD, Pokken Tournament, Shantae, Paper Mario Color Splash, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games 2016. I mean, that wasn't even them who made that. That was Sega who made that. The last game on this list that I can see that Nintendo actually worked on, I mean, technically, like Mario and Sonic. Oh, Paper Mario Color Splash. Yeah, Paper Mario Color Splash was October 2016. It took another 6 months for the Switch 2 to come out. Or for the original Switch to come out. 6 months, and they had nothing. Now, right here, in this Direct alone, there were multiple titles that are coming. I mean, Metroid Prime 4, first of all, is a Switch 1 game, right? And that's probably coming out around the same time as the Switch 2. But they have more games throughout all of this that are coming out in June, July, holiday this year, early next year, right? So it is vastly different. I think once again, the best comparison is the 3DS. So many people continued developing for the DS. Even Nintendo continued developing for the DS. Game Freak continued making Pokemon games for the DS, like 2 years into the release of the 3DS. Pokemon Black and White came out right before the release of the 3DS. Black and White 2 came out 2 years later. The 3DS was already out at that point, and they were still making Pokemon games for the DS. I think, genuinely the best system you can compare it to is the 3DS. And I just hope that it does better than the 3DS did at launch. That's gonna be Nintendo's console to beat, is the 3DS. Obviously, even in terms of sales, you know, the Switch 1 has sold almost as many units as the original DS did across its 4 revisions. Can they outsell the 3DS with the Switch 2? That's gonna be my metric of success. If they can outsell the 3DS with the Switch 2, they've learned from their mistakes. Right? I think that's legitimately the best metric. Especially in like that first year or two, because the 3DS did not sell that well in the first 2 years. Remember that they did the price drop like 6 months into the release of the system, and only then is when it kind of started selling. And also the 3DS just didn't have much to play at launch. There wasn't that many games for the 3DS at launch. It took a while before we got like, you know, Mario Kart 7 and like Super Mario 3D Land. That took a second. And if they can beat that, if they can beat the launch window of the 3DS with the Switch 2, I think they themselves are going to see it as a success. And I would judge it as a success at that point. If they can beat the 3DS's first year launch or first year sales. How much did the 3DS sell in 1 year? 3DS sales year 1. The 3DS sold 4.5 million units in the US, sure, but how much did it sell? Sales of Nintendo 3DS worldwide. Okay, let's see. Yeah, they released it late 2021, or they released it late 2011. They sold 3.6 million units, and then in 2012, they sold 13.5. So let's say in the first year, probably sold about 15 million units in the first year, right? The 3DS's most successful year was the third year, where it sold 14 million. That was the most successful year, though. It was literally the third year of the system. And if they can sell 20 million Switch 2s in the first year, I think we're off to a great start. If they can sell 20 million units before like, yeah, 20 million. I think 20 to 25 million before the end of the 2026 holiday season. I think they're looking really, really good. And obviously the Switch 1 is going to continue selling too. Like, most people are, if they're smart, they're going to buy a used Switch 1 if they really want to play Switch 1 games and they don't have one yet. But like even new Switch 1 consoles, they kept selling the 3DS. The 3DS still sold 2.5 million units in 2019. 2019, that's 2 years after the release of the Switch. They still sold 2.5 million of them. 2018, they sold 6.4 million. 2017, they sold 7.5 million. So like, and Switch 2 is backwards compatible, so it might as well get that and play Switch 1 games on there. Exactly. Anyway, I've done 2 hours of yapping. So I am gonna hop off. I hope that you all have a lovely rest of your day. Tomorrow or day after. I think tomorrow, because Atlas and I are both autistic as hell, and you know it. Tomorrow, we're gonna be opening the new Pokemon TCG set that's coming out tomorrow. Pokemon Journey Together. We have a full English booster box. I tried to also get an Elite Trainer box. Unfortunately, I could not find one for actual MSRP, and I refused to pay above MSRP for new Pokemon sets. But we'll open the Elite Trainer box at some point later. I'm sure that I'll be able to find one. But yeah, so Pokemon Journey Together, full booster box. Atlas and I are going to be opening that either tomorrow or Saturday, but expect tomorrow, same time as today. I'll be making the waiting room for that once I converse with Atlas on when we do it and once we actually have the booster box in, because we don't have it yet. It should be coming in later today. And then, yeah, that'll be a very, very fun stream tomorrow. So I hope that you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye!